Hi, my name's Stephen Kelly. I'm the Assistant Keeper of Biology at the Great North Museum Hancock. You're currently in the Hancock Resource Centre, so it's not the main site, it's the store where we keep all our objects. There are about 15 stores and about 500,000 objects, and we're always looking to add more objects to the collections. So there's biological collections, which is all the taxidermy. There's osteological collections, which is skeletal material. There's a herbarium with plant material. There's an archaeology store with lots of archaeology from the local region. There's an entomology store, which is full of bugs, mainly butterflies and moths. And then probably the most interesting and exciting store is the ethnography store, and that's the one with all the weapons.
So my name's Rob Murray and I'm the Curatorial Assistant for Archaeology at the Great North Museum Hancock. This is actually the store where we keep the vast majority of our objects. So in the museum you're actually only seeing the tip of the iceberg.
The collections in here come from a variety of different sources. So the majority of it is 18th century, where gentlemen scientists would actually go out and physically hunt and kill these animals. Thankfully, our attitudes toward the natural world have changed, so a lot of our stuff now is sourced from zoos, safari parks and wildlife sanctuaries.
So this is the Ethnography and Archaeology store, and this has a lot of items that were collected by the British Empire, which is predominantly why we've got a lot of weaponry in here. Nothing has been bought in this collection in particular since 1825. It's all been either collected or donated. So what I've got here is what we affectionately call the Wall of Death. And the reason for that is it's one of the most interesting and potentially dangerous pieces of the collection. There's a lot of poisonous items here, predominantly from Africa, but also from South America. They are coated in various types of poison, mostly from tree frog venoms, and they can kill you in anything between 10 and 20 seconds if it gets into your bloodstream. So what I've got here is some items from Asia. This piece of armour is made up of iron plate, leather and textiles, and although they are quite small in size, the person wearing this armour would be quite a formidable opponent.
This is the osteology store. Osteology is the study of bones. As well as bones, we've got other objects in here. So there are lots of antlers and lots of horns. Typically in the process of taxidermy, nothing's wasted. So in the process of preparing a piece of taxidermy, all of the gooey bits, so the innards, guts, they're typically discarded, but the bones are often kept. This is the skull of a tiger. Tigers, as we all know, are very powerful animals, and the skull is specially designed with specialized teeth to allow them to be able to take down large items of prey. So the teeth can be, particularly the canines, up to 10 centimeters in length. They're obviously very capable of crushing through bone, and the carnassial teeth at the back will also process and rip flesh from the bone. They, across the back of the skull, have this pronounced ridge, and you find this ridge in animals with very strong bites, such as crocodiles. And that is a ridge which allows the strong muscles from the jaws to attach to, therefore a greater surface area, which gives them this very powerful bite. This unusual object is the nose or rostrum of a sawfish. This particular part of the body is thought to have two uses. One is to allow it to physically whack the prey. So they'll go into a shoal of fish and they'll use it to whack them, stun them, and then they'll eat them. And another idea, another theory of what they use it for is to be able to detect weak electrical signals and pulses from an animal that's buried in the sediment. So there are tiny little pits across the surface of this, and effectively it works a bit like a metal detector, allowing the individual animal to pick up on the weak electrical signals, and then they use this to dig them up and eat them. One of the really interesting objects is Percy the pelican. He used to live in the old Hancock Museum, and when we refurbished, he now lives in the Great North Museum Resource Centre. Percy was actually found in Warkworth in Northumberland, and they're not local to the region, so the fact that he turned up there was quite a shock to the residents when they woke up one morning. Percy sadly did die eventually, and was donated to the museum and has been preserved for everyone to see. So we've got the very skilled taxidermists like the Hancock brothers at one end of the scale, moving all the way up to the other end of the scale where you've got your amateur taxidermists who although they try, don't always get it right, as you can see from this example beside me.